The woman's ugliness melted away to reveal a lovely enchantress.
As punishment for his selfishness, the enchantress turned the prince into a hideous beast, the castle into a dark fortress, and the servants into household objects. Before she left, she gave the prince two gifts, a magic mirror that allowed him to see the outside world, and the rose, which would only live until his 21st birthday.
Now, if you learn to love another and earn her love in return before the last petal of the rose has fallen, said the enchantress, the spell will be broken. If not, then you will remain a beast forever.
A few years passed. One day, in a village not far from the castle, a young girl named Belle was crossing the town square. Belle loved to read, and as usual, she had her nose in a book. The handsome but conceited Gaston watched her. Gaston admired Belle almost as much as he admired himself. "She is the girl I am going to marry," he declared.
When Belle got home, her father, Maurice, greeted her excitedly. "I've just finished my latest invention," he exclaimed. "I hope it works." "Of course it will," Belle reassured him. "I'm sure it will win first prize at the fair."
That afternoon, Maurice hitched his invention to his horse, Philippe, and set off for the fair. But Maurice and Philippe became lost as they rode through the forest. Suddenly they heard the howling of wolves. The frightened horse reared up in alarm, sending poor Maurice flying through the air. Maurice got up quickly and ran down a hillside with the wolf snapping at his heels. He saw an iron gate, slipped through it, and slammed it shut just in time. He followed a path until he came to a dark, forbidding castle. When no one answered his knock, Maurice opened the creaking door and let himself in.
No sooner was he inside than a strange thing happened. A candlestick bowed and began talking to him. "Welcome, my good man," said the candlestick. Then a clock stepped out of the shadows and scolded the candlestick. "Lumiere, you know our master said not to let anyone in."
"Oh, but now that he's here, Cogsworth," said Mrs. Potts, a talking teapot, "we must be kind to the old gentleman." Her teacup son, Chip, agreed. So they gave Morris some tea, a bite to eat, and a chair to rest in. Suddenly, a dreadful beast bursts into the room. A stranger. He roared. "What are you doing here?" "Just needed a place to stay," said Morris timidly. "I'll give you a place to stay," shouted the beast. Then he scooped Morris up in his hairy paws and carried him off to the dungeon.
Back at the village, Belle was waiting for her father to return when Gaston came to ask for her hand in marriage. Belle tried to say no politely. "I really don't deserve you," she started to say, but Gaston would not listen.
He had backed her up against the door when Belle reached for her doorknob. She opened the door and sent him sprawling down the steps into a giant puddle.
Later, Belle heard Philippe whinnying outside of her window. "Where is father?" she said to the horse. "Did something happen to him?" Belle threw on a cloak and leapt on to Philippe's back. "Take me to papa," she commanded. Philippe sped through the forest until he came to the dark and uninviting castle. Belle saw her father's hat lying just inside the gate. She tied Philippe to a post and followed the path up to the castle.
"Papa, are you here?" cried Belle. She slowly pushed open the door of the castle and stepped inside. Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, and Chip quietly followed Belle through the halls. "Isn't she lovely?" whispered Mrs. Potts. "Perhaps she's the one who will break the spell."
Finally, Belle found her poor father locked away in a lonely cell. She was reaching out to touch him when the beast suddenly appeared. Trembling with fright, Belle asked the beast to let her father go.
"He is an old man," she begged. "Take me instead." "Very well," said the beast. "But you must promise to stay here forever." "You have my word," replied Belle. Then, before Belle could say a proper good-bye, the beast dragged Morris away and sent him home in an enchanted coach.
Soon the beast returned to Belle. "You may go anywhere you like," he said as he showed her to her room, "but you must never go near the west wing." Then the beast shut the door. Belle was alone with Wardrobe, who was delightful to have a lovely young girl to dress.
Meanwhile, Morris raced to the village tavern to get help. A hideous beast had Belle locked up in his castle. Morris cried. But Gaston and the villagers only laughed at him, so he left by himself to find Belle.
Later that night, Belle sneaked out of her room to eat and explore the castle. Cogsworth and Illumere started to give Belle a tour, but she slipped away to see the forbidden West Wing. "I wonder what he's hiding there," she said. When she came to the beast's room, she found the enchanted rose under a bell jar. She was about to touch its soft petals when the beast came charging towards her.
"Don't touch that," he bellowed. "I told you not to come here. Get out." Belle ran from the room, down the stairs and out into the freezing night. She leaped onto Felipe and began to race him through the woods. She would not stay at the castle with the horrible beast, no matter what she had promised.
Remember to stay Terra for part 2 on Saturday this week. But until next time, bye. Ha 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 ha.
Track that clue. Where will it lead to? That trip's blue. This one too. The ice cream's missing, but we'll bring it back.